I found out when she was about 6 months along. The guy Bryan approached me at my work. "Are you Sarah's boyfriend?" I said yeah and asked what he wanted. He said he was sorry that he had slept with her and swore he didn't know that she was with someone. I don't believe that. He then pulled out his phone to show the texts between them. They had been sleeping together or linking up for at least a year. Then she found out she was pregnant and they came to an agreement to just pretend the baby was mine. In return, she would not lose her perfect life and he would not be responsible for a baby. I knew it was weird. We had been having problems trying for a baby and all of a sudden she got pregnant so easily. But he explained that he had been thinking about it and he recently became a Christian. He said that he could not live his life knowing that I was living a lie while his child didn't know their real father. So yeah, I told him I keep in touch, and to not say that he said anything just yet. I had a lot of time to think, but ultimately I decided to wait until she gave birth to her in her most vulnerable moment. I'll spare the details, but she went into labor, baby was born, and was taken to the NICU to be monitored for a bit. What should have been a beautiful moment of me holding my baby, was the most heartbreaking time of my life. Just knowing he was not mine hurt me. Once she was sewn up and comfortable, I started packing up my stuff to leave. She asked where I was going and I just told her, "I know I not baby name father." "You can act all shocked, but I know. Just ask Bryan to come. I positive he'll sign the birth certificate." Then I left. She'd been calling my phone over and over, even sending texts as I type this, and has even gotten her sister to call me a few times. It was hard pretending these last few months, but I think I satisfied. I feel really heartbroken though. I was planning to propose to her on the day our baby was born. I was gonna make her the happiest woman ever. Oh well. I'm going to go get shitfaced now. Small update, added to original post. Head hurts, but I home and safe. I'll clear up a few things. Bryan is going to be in the baby life if it is. I don't care what anyone says. I sure the kid is and mine. I'll go get tested, but me and Bryan have been in contact since last night and there is and a doubt in my mind. For those of you calling me a psychopath or whatever, I don't really care. You'll all forget about this post in a day anyway, while I'll have to live with this shit for the rest of my life. What I did was not amazing, but I don't care. All I ever did was treat her amazing, and this is how she pays me back. If you think this is fake, go read something else. Does not matter to me. Update 1. Hi everyone. I just wanted to start by saying I would updated sooner, but it takes a bit to get test results back. I also been working on myself in the time being. Thanks for all the support. I'll cut to the chase. I am not the father, but I already knew that already deep down. Bryan and the baby are a match, so that pretty much answers the question. He very excited to be a dad, even despite the circumstances. We kept in touch this whole time and he actually a really great guy. Goes to church now, volunteers at shelters, etc. I'm not sure if we'll continue to stay in touch after this, but I would not mind getting a drink with him every once in a while. I hope the kid does great in life. He should with Bryan as his dad. As for Sarah, around the time I posted she had asked Bryan to be with her officially, since there was nothing to hide. As far as I know, he has not taken her up on that offer and just wants to co-parent for the sake of being in his kid's life. I think that very smart of him, honestly. Me and her have talked as well. We talked about where it all went wrong. She felt as though I was not there for her fully and just felt unfulfilled, which I understand. I was not always the best guy, but I treated her the best I could. I guess it just was not meant to be. She started crying and I did give her a hug, but I made sure she knew it was not cause I cared about her. She offered to stay friends and for me to visit if I want, but I declined. I'm not really interested in keeping up with her and her kid, but I did give her the stuffed animal I was planning to give our kid someday as a gift. She'd been staying with her mom, and has fully moved out her stuff. She asked me to keep her number, but I blocked her the same day she finished moving out. So it's just me now. I'm not gonna lie, my heart has been super heavy, but I think I'll be okay. They're a cute girl at my work and we been talking. She a single mom and has been awesome so far. I explained that I wanted to go slow cause of my recent breakup and she understands. We hooked up once or twice. Nothing serious yet. I just wanna be by myself for now, but I'll likely give her a shot when I'm ready. That it for now. I depressed, but I working out now at least. I never want to talk to Sarah and will likely never see her again. It sucks cause she was such a big part of my life, but that gone now. Edit. Just wanted to mention that I still don't feel bad about what I did. I can tell she's still hurting, but I definitely think it deserves still. Update 2. I keep getting DMs asking me to update, so here one. Been roughly 8 months. Check profile for original story. No, I don't talk to Sarah. Screw Sarah. Haven't seen her. Last I heard, she moved to 3 hours away with her mom to be closer to some family. I kept seeing her around town a lot, so I beyond grateful she gone. She would attempt to have conversations with me sometimes in the first month after she gave birth, but that soon stopped. As for Bryan, we text occasionally, and we did go out for that beer. He overall seems happy to be a father, but we don't talk about Sarah. I don't keep up much with him anyways. We both hard-working men with jobs, kids, and lives to live, so it kinda hard to keep up. I don't think they eat together at all, but who knows. Speaking of kids, the woman who was a single mom that I started seeing, we eat still together. Her kid is awesome and I love being her stepdad tbh. So a big middle finger to those who told me to stop talking to her or that it was not gonna work. It may seem like we moved fast, but at this point, I don't care. I never loved anyone more. We communicate properly, hardly fight. Just so much fun. I initially was gonna cut all contact with her after falling off into a bad drinking habit, but she really kept me grounded. I didn't meet my stepdaughter for a while, but when I did, I knew I could not leave. Being a part of this little family has healed me in ways I literally can't fathom. And before anyone says I just use them to deal with the trauma of not having my own kid, that could not be farther from the truth. I in therapy, I got my shit together, and most days I don't even think about my ex. Hell, I even forgot about this damn account. Words cannot describe how much my life has picked up. Thank you Reddit strangers for being there in the darkest time in my life. Honestly, it helped. Hoping to propose to my girlfriend sometime in the future. That it. Bye. Towards the end, everything after speaking of kids I just automatically read in a very mild an hour. Gotta get this out now, kind of voice. I don't know who he's trying to convince more that he's winning in life, but much like his previous relationship, perhaps he doesn't have the best grasp of the reality of it. I mean, first blush was I treated her amazing, then after a while it was okay, maybe I just treated her the best I could. That's quite the gap in how he perceives himself. For the sake of this innocent child, hopefully he'll lay off the booze and actually be an amazing partner and stepfather. That was the first story, and now we are going to listen today's second story. I've been best friends with Becca since 2010. We were college roommates, and then after we graduated we still lived together up until I moved in with my boyfriend Nate in 2019. One thing about Becca is that she always had a drinking problem for as long as I known her, and she done stuff while drunk that has sometimes caused problems in our friendship. She does try to stay sober, but every few years something will happen to make her start drinking again, which is what happened earlier this summer. So last Saturday Becca called me because she was drunk somewhere and needed a ride home. I could not go pick her up because I had the flu and I was on cold medicine, so Nate went to get her instead. A couple of days after that I started noticing that Nate was being weird with his phone. Normally he leaves it out on the coffee table if we watching TV or whatever, but he started putting it face down so I could not see what notifications he was getting. My first thought was that he was trying to plan a surprise, and because of the timing I thought that maybe Becca was helping him. Yesterday I saw Becca. I told her that Nate was being sneaky all of a sudden and asked her if he said anything about maybe proposing soon. She asked me if I looked through his phone and I said no. Becca started crying and told me that she and Nate hooked up in his car the night that he came to pick her up. Her excuse was that she was really drunk and didn't fully know what she was doing. She said she'd been texting him since, telling him that he needed to tell me what happened or else she was going to. I asked Becca to show me the texts, but they were all in the app Signal, which deletes messages after a day. So all I could see was that she and Nate had a chat thread, but nothing that they said. I told her to text Nate in front of me so I could see what he said, and she did, but we got no read receipt and so no response at all, so it didn't prove anything. I asked Becca if she was sure she was not so drunk that she maybe imagined it or thought a dream was real, and she absolutely lost her shit on me and said that she knows that she horrible when she drinks, but that she not f***ing delusional and she does not make shit up. She said that I could believe her or not and it my choice, but she was telling me the truth. I said I needed to go home and talk to Nate. So when I got home I confronted Nate with what Becca has said, and he acted shocked and denied that anything like that had happened at all and said he didn't know why she thinks so or say so. He said that he had just given Becca a ride home and the only thing that happened was that they talked about how he and I had been together for a long time and how we should get married already. He admitted they were talking on Signal the next couple of days, but he said that it was about exactly what I thought, that he was asking her about engagement rings and what kind of proposal I would want. Nate replied to Becca's message from before asking her if she made up a story about them hooking up to not ruin the surprise about his proposal, and she texted him back that there was no proposal and to stop playing dumb. So then Nate called her pretending like I was not in the room and told her that she needed to stop whatever she was trying to do because we were on the verge of breaking up and he'd rather just have the surprise be ruined. But Becca just kept telling Nate to stop lying until he got angry and hung up on her. I really didn't know what to think and I still don't. Right now Nate is really upset and not really talking to me much. He says that it bad enough that Becca acted insane and ruined his plan to propose, but it even worse that I believed her lies even a little and would think that he would ever cheat on me. Becca texted me saying she was sorry but otherwise I haven't talked to her either. I don't want to think that Nate would cheat on me or that he'd take advantage of Becca if she was that drunk. But I feel like I can be 100% sure because I've known Becca for 13 years and I also just can't believe that she lied to me about something this important. And I know that she does have a drinking problem, so I can believe that she sleep with my boyfriend if she was drunk out of her head. She done some pretty awful things in the past when she been drunk. I don't want to wrongly accuse Nate of something he didn't do, but I don't want to be an idiot. Relevant comments. Signal doesn't automatically delete messages unless you turn that feature on. Would he have? It's not the automatic default. But if Nate created the chat with Becca and set it for messages to disappear after 24 hours, then all of her messages with him will do that without input from her. Someone asks what OOP wants help with. Sleuthing ideas, who is more believable, revenge, etc. I think what I initially wanted was just a sounding board for who sounded more believable, but someone gave me the tip that you actually can recover messages from Signal, so when I have a chance later tonight I'm going to try to do that to see if I can get some actual proof of what happened. But so far I haven't talked to anyone else about this though. I really just don't want to spread around what didn't happen to the rest of my friends or family without actually knowing for sure. What else has Becca done to you while drunk? So in the past when she's been drunk, Becca's blacked out and started fights with me or other people. She'll say really out of line insulting things. She's kicked people out of our apartment because she didn't remember inviting them in. She's accused me of stealing clothes from her because I was wearing an outfit that looked like something that she also owned, that kind of thing. She's never hooked up with anyone that I was dating, but she's definitely hooked up with guys that she knew I was interested in. Who has the greater motivation to lie here, Nate or Becca? Becca did have a big problem with Nate when we first got together, and she was really upset when I moved out of our apartment to move in with him. I could see her still being angry about it or still not liking him but just not saying anything. From what Nate said, they weren't making the plans on Saturday, but Becca brought up that it's been 7 years and asked why we're not married yet, and then the day after he asked her about rings. What is her reason for not liking him? So at the time she was in one of her longest stretches of being sober and she said that I was abandoning her for some guy when she needed my support the most. And then when I moved out, she tried to make it out like she wouldn't be able to stay sober without me living with her, and Nate basically had to step in and point out that she couldn't stay sober anyway, so to stop guilting me. It's possible she blames you for her current drinking, and Nate saying he wants to propose triggered her anger for some reason. Everything you say here makes sense to me. Becca has said stuff like this in the past. Not specifically about Nate, but sometimes when she starts drinking again she acts like it's unfair that I'm not getting dragged down with her or doing more to help her, and I think on some level she might still think it's his fault that I moved out and don't keep as close an eye on her as I did back when we lived together. I don't know if she'd really go as far as to lie about something like this just for that reason. I really hope she wouldn't, but I could completely believe that she feels like this. Update. So on Thursday night after I got everyone advice, I told Nate that I had found out a way to recover deleted messages from Signal. He immediately took out his phone and opened the app and asked me to show him how to do it. So I already thought that must mean he was telling me the truth because he didn't panic or hesitate at all. Which was good because when I tried to download Signal on my old phone it turned out that it's too old to support the current version of the app, so it would not work. Nate then asked me if we were going to have to go out and buy a new phone for me to believe that he was telling me the truth, and he said that he was willing to do it if that what it would take. I told Nate it was not that I didn't believe him, I just wanted to have some proof because I just could not understand why Becca would lie about it. Nate said that she would lie about it because she a fucking crazy bitch and there literally no way for a non-crazy person to understand why she would do anything. And once the messages proved that he didn't ever want me talking to her again. Then he said to get up because if we were going to go to the Verizon store we had to get there before it closed. By then I completely believed Nate anyway, so I told him we didn't have to go anywhere or get a new phone and that I believed him and I knew he didn't cheat on me and that he would never do that. Nate said that he would hope I know that and that he didn't understand why I didn't take his word for it in the first place. I started trying to explain why I didn't want to just immediately dismiss what Becca had said happened, but Nate said that he really could not listen to that right now. I said that was fair and agreed that I would cut Becca off, but that first I wanted to try to get her to admit that nothing happened. Nate said fine, but to call her with my phone on speaker because he thought he also deserved to hear her admit that she was lying. So I called Becca and I said the same thing to her that I said to Nate, that I figured out how to recover deleted messages on Signal. She asked me why I would need to do that, so that was when I knew for sure that she was definitely making it up and not just confused somehow. I said it was because I wanted to have proof of what she and Nate talked about. Becca asked me if I saw their messages, so I lied and said yes. After that Becca just went silent until finally I asked her if she was going to say anything. Then she asked me if that meant that we were engaged now. So then I really just lost it on her and screamed at her asking her if she was fucking serious and the fuck was wrong with her and how could that possibly be all that she had to say. Becca started screaming back telling me to fucking calm down out how obviously I never believed her anyway because it's not like we broke up over it. I was crying by that point and because of that I could not really say anything else. So then Nate told Becca to go fuck herself and to never ever contact either one of us ever again and hung up on her. A minute later Becca sent me a completely unhinged text that I quoting here verbatim apart from changed names. Courtney, you are supposed to be my friend for life. You are supposed to be there for me. You are supposed to be my person. But then you meet Nate and now you only care about Nate. Everything is about Nate. Tell me why Nate comes to pick me up when I call you. I called you, not your precious fucking Nate. I want you to see how fucked you pee this do you? No. Of course you done. Of course you choose Nate over me like you always do and like you always will. You pretend to care about me but I can see you don't care. It is pathetic, Courtney. You are a pathetic woman who would choose a man over a friend. But since you can say it yourself I will. Since you have to have your sweet perfect little baby Nate do it for you I will. Goodbye, Courtney. Is that what you want? Goodbye forever. I hope you fucking got what you fucking want. There 3 dots after that showing she was still typing more, but I blocked her before she sent it. I don't care about anything else that she has to say. I sure it all just going to be more bullshit about why this is my fault or justifications about why what she did was not that bad and I should forgive her. I know Nate is probably right and there no non-crazy logic behind why Becca would stoop to doing something like this. But obviously IE still been thinking about it and my best guess is that whoever said that Becca still blames me and Nate, apparently mostly Nate, for her being a drunk mess who can get her life together is right. It seems like she somehow thought that if she said she hooked up with Nate, I break up with him but still want to be friends with her and then everything would magically be fixed. As far as stuff with Nate, I asked him if he thought he could ever forgive me for doubting him and he said that since I came to my senses and I cut Becca off he guesses we can try to put it behind us. I don't think he's still going to propose anytime soon. After this I probably would not if I was him. And from what Nate said he didn't actually do any planning yet other than asking Becca about rings and if I think a public proposal was tacky or not. All he was doing so far was trying to get ideas without me knowing he was talking to her about it. So just based on that I think probably it not going to happen for a while if it still does at all. Comment from OOP. I'm sure she won't just go away. I'm already expecting her to try to get our other friends to get in the middle of everything as soon as she figures out she's actually blocked and I'm not just ignoring her. I hope she won't try to do anything else but I guess at this point I really can't know with her. I'm hoping things are okay with Nate. I think in a while they will be. Addiction hurts everyone, not just addicts but the people they love and care about. However, it seems like the addict here also has a case of always being prioritized and never paying it back in kind. Also understand the boyfriend reaction and hesitance later because well, prior acts have to count when making decisions, And clearly Becca has a long and storied history of not only being a mess when drunk but also downright nasty. Being drunk does not automatically set someone to their worst settings. It typically sets them to their default. Thanks for listening everyone. If you enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Reddit Zone to never miss a future upload.